Dreams are seeds, just plant on the sands. Step by step, the world turns bright. Every moment carved into the light. Push through walls, they'll tumble and fade. You're the spark, the move to be made. Chase and fight.
I see my
Yes,
screen now.
I can see it.
Yes, I
Yes.
can
we can
see.
see. Yes.
All right, so this is what image of a bacteria. Very beautiful and dangerous and deadly. So now let's look at the bacteria closely. I was telling us that I believe that this is not the first time we are hearing the word bacteria, right? So,
Yes, sir.
peradventure, growing up, you must have heard, don't put your hand in your mouth, you introduce bacteria into your stomach, or don't even lick this and don't eat anything that fell to the ground. You would ingest bacteria and all. Now, my mom has a very funny way of calling every germ, every microorganism. She has a very funny way of classifying them as well, bacteria. But tonight, I want us to understand truly what bacteria is. So I have here, bacteria are single-celled organisms that lack a nucleus. Bacteria are unicellular organisms. Unicellular means single-celled. Now, I use a very simple language here, but I doubt you will see anything single-celled in your textbook. You will see unicellular there, right? So bacteria are unicellular organisms that lack a nucleus. Some textbooks say that lack a true nucleus. They have something called a nucleoid, which you are going to see very soon. So they are unicellular organisms. They are single cell organisms. They don't exist in colony. They are one-man show. And they have a true nucleus. So they are called prokaryotes. Are you seeing what I'm saying now? This is not in the PDF. So just write it down. Bacteria are also what's called prokaryotes. All right. So they are prokaryotes. Hope you have written it down. So I'll move on. Now, they are also one of the most extensively studied microorganisms, because scientists believe that they are also one of the oldest form of life. So if they can study them very well, if they can study them in-depthly, they might be able to decode one or twos about life. Not just that, something else amazed those scientists. I myself am being trained as a doctor, and every doctor is also a scientist, because that's what we do basically. So now, being trained, I got to understand that bacteria are very wonderful. They have this extensive ability to adapt. They can resist every situation. They can just, once introduced into a cell's body, if that environment is not conducive for them, just give them time. Some of them will die, yes, but the fittest among them develop adaptability, develop special features to enable them balance and live well. Now, using myself as for example, now last week I went for a medical checkup. I want to start doing that routinely now. I went for a checkup and I discovered that I had this thing, bacteria, what is it called? Staphylococcus aureus. Are you with me? Now, funny thing about this is that I've been taking ciprofloxacin. It's an antibiotics drug. I've been taking this before for typhoid and the rest. But that's a very dangerous practice. Don't take bacterial antibiotics unless prescribed. There is a reason for that. Now, when I went for tests and the test results were out, I was shown that that particular bacteria has developed resistance for so many drugs. Now, are you still with me? Someone's mic is on. Do you have a question? Okay, let's continue. So, in that test results, now due to what I'm being trained for, due to my profession I'm being trained for, I was able to read the test results before I gave it to my doctor. Now, looking at that test result, I was seeing that so many drugs listed there. The bacterial infection was marked as resistant. Out of close to 10 drugs that was listed there, it was only 2 that was marked as positive. That is, those 2 can still treat that bacteria. And I was very surprised. Now, I was very surprised because probably these have lasted for a very long time. Unknowing to me, I'll have stomach bite. I'll go and take ciprofloxacin. And funny enough, that drug is already what marked as resistance there. So this is one of the things that fascinated what scientists. The way the bacteria are able to what develop immune immediately to certain types of drug, it made them what raise very major concern. So we want to what look carefully at what first of all the cell structure. Okay, let's look at the characteristics before the structure that what gives them the ability to what adapt. Now, characteristics of bacteria. Number one, they what have cell wall composed of peptidoglycan. They have cell wall composed of peptidoglycan. Now, when you advance in class, probably during your year 2 or year 3, depending on your course, if you are in into medical field, you'll be taught what this peptidoglycan does is just for a basis for something called gram staining, used to identify the type of bacteria. Let me not get ahead of myself. Now, okay, they are what have a cell wall composed of peptidoglycan. Please, if you have a red pen, just underline that word because it's a differentiating factor. Peptidoglycan. Number two, it has what an outermost layer, an outermost layer called what a capsule. Now, please, this point is not in the slide. It has an outermost layer called what a capsule. Now, it is this capsule that what prevents them from immune attack of your cell. I was giving us an example using my own self. I was find out that I had a bacteria, a pathogen entered my body and was causing release of toxins that I used to have reactions in my body. So going to the hospital, I found out this bacteria has been here for a very long time, and the drugs I have been taking, we are not able to cure them. Why? It has a capsule that is immune to immune to attacks by your immune cells. So we call this an outermost capsule. So I'll give you your two structural characteristics now. Now the third one, they have a plasma membrane. Every true cell has a plasma membrane. Now the plasma membrane serves a very major function of controlling what moves
Please,
in and what comes out.
sorry for
Hello?
interrupting you. Repeat number two, please, sir.
Okay, number two is that it has an outermost layer called a capsule. Taking? All right. So number
Yes,
3
you
point,
said that the capsule is immune to what?
the capsule helps it resist immune attacks. It helps it resist attack from your immune cells.
Okay.
Okay, so number 3, plasma membrane. The plasma membrane is what is called what? Now, okay, let me explain first before I give you that. Now, a plasma membrane is just like a dividing factor. It controls what moves in and what comes out. I know this is not the first time of you hearing something called a semi-permeable membrane. Hello? I believe this is not the first time of hearing something called a semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable means it allows just some things to enter and some things not to enter. All right. So the plasma, someone's mic is on. The plasma membrane is what a semi-permeable membrane. It is also responsible for energy production in bacteria.
Okay.
Now, listen, okay. Now, in the what? In this nucleus, in the cell. Oh God, I wish I have a better diagram. Now, in a bacteria they don't have a what? Membrane-bounded organelles, and they don't have a nucleus. All right. I said, bacteria they lack a true nucleus, and they also lack membrane-bound organelles. So, the question you should ask yourself is what are membrane-bound organelles? Membrane-bound organelles are just like specific areas in a cell where some specific reactions take place. I remember last week I was using a school field for example. Now imagine in a school field, they will come now, the school field is now a cell. Now in a school field, they will come to one end of the school and build a lecture hall, and we'll call this physics classroom. Now that physics classroom is used for only physics, teaching physics alone. Now probably one end of the school field, they will now come and build another building that has wall. That wall is your membrane bound organelle. Now, in that building, it will call what? A chemistry laboratory. What will be happening there is what? Chemical reactions. Now, you not, but in bacteria now, there are no membrane-bound organelle. In that school field, anything can just what happen. There is no restricted area where this thing should happen or that thing should happen. Also, there is no nucleus. Nucleus is what centrally placed organelle that what houses the genetic material of the what cell. This grammar I just spoke now simply means the nucleus contains what your genetic information. What defines your protein synthesis? What defines whether you look like your mom or you look like your dad? What to define whether you'll be as tall as I am or you will be very brief? What to define if you will be fat or you will be very slim like I am? Are you getting me? But in bacteria, it lacks a true nucleus. So another question now is, where is the DNA found? The DNA is found in what? In a space around in the middle of the bacterial cell, in a space called the nucleoid. If you are writing, let me spell. That's your number 4. Number 4, nucleoid. 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 This is what a region where the DNA is found. The nucleoid is the region where the DNA is found in a bacterial cell. All right. So, am I missing anything? Okay, let me just tell you this part for just probably for your knowing sake. Now, bacteria, they exist in different shapes. They have what spherical bacteria called what cocci, COCCI. Some are rod shaped and they are called bacilli, BACILLI. Some bacteria are
You are
yet
now
still. Hmm?
please, you are coming too fast.
Okay, I'm too fast. All right, let me slow down. Now,
Thank you.
shapes. Shapes. Number 1, some of them are spherical in shape. Those spherical in shapes are also what's called what? Cocci, COCCI. 2, some of them are also what? Rod in shape. So rod-shaped bacteria are what's called bacilli, BACILLI. Some bacteria also exist what? Spiral in shape. Now, these ones existing in spiral in shape are what's called what? Spirilla, SPIROILLA. So looking at my screen now, I have a bacteria type. So I would love someone to tell me the shape of this bacteria now.
Bacilli. The shape is
Anyone?
bacilli.
Bacilli, rod shaped. All right, that's nice. Okay, so last main point. God, people that miss this class actually missed a lot. Now, the last point on bacteria is that they reproduce by binary what? Fission. That's they exhibit asexual reproduction. Are we together? Wow, 9:33. Okay, please, let's move to the next point. Fungi. So, fungi are eukaryotic organisms that can be unicellular or multicellular. Fungi. Funny enough, growing up, I always liked this guy, but I never knew it had the ability to what cause diseases. Whenever I heard the word fungi, I always what imagine my junior brother because he's a very what funny young man growing up though. Now, I used to believe that fungi actually meant someone that is funny. I heard the name first of all in a cartoon around my primary 5 or my 6. I was calling my friends fungi. I felt like I was giving the words a cool nickname. So until my JS, I got to know that fungi are eukaryotic organisms. You, EU, I told us last 2 weeks. You is a Greek word for what? True. So anytime you see the word you, it means true. Karyotic means nucleus. Okay? Karyotic means nucleus. It's just extra knowledge. You can write it somewhere. Eukaryotic organisms means organisms that have what? True nucleus. Are you seeing how they would bring out terms in biology? They don't just wake up one morning and invent something. No, everything has what their basics. And if you can be able to understand the basis of how things are derived, you will not have any issue learning biology. So when I say fungi are eukaryotic organisms, I mean there are organisms that have what? A true nucleus. It means they have nucleus that what? Membrane bounded. And inside that nucleus, that is where you what? Find the DNA and some other special what? Processes occurring there. Also, fungi, unlike bacteria, they can be what? Unicellular or also multicellular. That is, they can exist in colony and also what? On their own. Now, looking at what makes fungi. Why
Please
is it that
repeat
fungi?
this point.
Which point?
The,
Okay, the one I
the
just made
point
now.
you made now. Yeah.
Okay, I say that fungi, there are what? They can be found what? As unicellular organisms. That means they can be single celled. Single cell. Now, the context of this the idea of this single cell is that it's just what is a cell. First of all, is a unit of life. So aggregation of cells, when different cells come together to perform a particular function, it attains what? Structural adaptability, and is now what? Called a tissue. Collection of different tissues form what? An organ. Collection of different organs form what? A system. Formation of what? Different system forms what? A complex organism. An organism. So, but some organisms have the ability to what? Exist as a single cell and still perform all life's activities perfectly well. You as a human being now, you are first of all made up of billions of cells, and these cells aggregate together to form tissues, and most of the tissues forms organ, and this organ forms digestive system, reproductive system, respiratory system, and these systems together make up you as a human being. But you now, you cannot what? Exist
Sir,
comfortably. Okay,
sir,
I'm listening.
sorry. About the bacteria,
All right.
those with spiral shapes, are they the
Yes.
one they call spirojets?
Pyrogens.
Spirojets.
Oh,
Spell.
spirochetes is the shape of a bacteria. We have cocci, bacillus, we have vibrio, and we have
Like
spirochetes. Spirochetes is
like they are
spiral.
the spirojets that have axial filaments. Are they the one that have the spiral shapes? Can we also call them? Are they the one that have the spiral shapes?
All right. Now, these are what's called basic classification. There are other ones I omitted them. Now, no, you cannot. Is what's unique on its own as well. Now, there is something also called what?
Oh.
Staphylococcus aureus. Now, it means chains of what? Rot-shaped bacteria. Okay. All
Mm.
right. So in fungi, right? Let me move straight to the point. Wow, 38 minutes. Okay. Characteristics or key features of what? A fungi. The cell walls are made of chitin. Are you seeing something here now? In bacteria, the cell walls are made of what? Peptidoglycan. Here now, in fungi, the cell walls are made of what? Chitin. Also, fungi, just like bacteria, they are not what? Photosynthetic. That means they cannot produce food with the help of sunlight. Also, they reproduce by sexual and asexual means. Sexual means they reproduce by what? Fusion of gametes, fusion of what? Mating types. Now, in asexual means they reproduce by what is called sporulation, spore formation. Now, when they release spores, those spores what contains viable what cells, and they rupture when the environment is what favorable for their growth. Now, there's something I forgot to mention about fungi. Unlike bacteria, that is anytime you bacteria, oh god, who is calling? Okay, so let's make another subheading. Economic importance of fungi. Importance of fungi. Number one, they are important in alcohol production through the process of fermentation.
Mind is not stable.
My voice is not stable.
Your slide is jumping up and down.
Is it stable now? Are you seeing it now?
Yes.
All right. So I was saying they participate in what alcohol. They help in alcohol production through the process called fermentation. Number two, they help in the production of antibiotics. Three, they are also what? They can also be what? Pathogenic. That is, they can be harmful.
You are too fast because what you are saying is not in slide.
All right, people are writing. Okay, let me come back to the second one. Number two, I say they help in what? Production of antibiotics. The very first antibiotics that was ever produced was what? Called penicillin. I think it was produced by Alexander Fleming. All right, 942. So we'll be looking at protozoa.
So there is third point you mentioned.
Third point. Okay, I mentioned that they can also be pathogenic. They can also cause diseases in organism. They can cause liver carcinogen, that is cancer of the liver. Have you noted it down?
Yes.
Okay, so protozoa, that's our next major classification this night. Protozoa. Now, protozoa are unicellular eukaryotes. There are single cell eukaryotes with complex structures. Are you with me? Now, from what I told us earlier, single cell means unicellular, right? Eukaryotes means they have true nucleus. So when I say protozoas are unicellular eukaryotes, I mean there are single-celled eukaryotes. There are single-celled organisms with what? A true nucleus. Having a true nucleus means that they also what? Have their DNA confined inside the nucleus. Okay. Now, protozoas, they include diverse groups just like amoeba, flagellates, and ciliates. Okay. Now, I want to tell us another very, very key fact, something that will help you. When you look at the word protozoa, pro, okay, first of all, I told us when you hear you means true, right? Now, just learn this one too. Whenever you hear pro, P-R-O, pro means first. Pro means top. Pro can mean someone that is very, very good, best. Are you getting me? So
It
pro
says
in
that
this sense
pro
means
means
what?
what?
First, first,
Best.
first, F-I-R-S-T, first position.
Okay, first.
Yes,
And
pro means first,
you miss what?
true,
Second
something that is
position.
true.
Okay.
No, something that is true. T-R-O-U-E. T-R-U-E. Something that is true.
Okay.
All right. So zoa means animal, zoology. Are you with me? So zoa, Z-O-A, means animal. So when you merge these two words together, protozoa, it simply means a what? First animal. Why is this so? When we know that protozoa is a microorganism and is not what? An animal. It's classified under what? Classified under, hello? Is your mic on? Oh God. Please mute your mic unless you have a question, okay? Okay, so let's continue. Where was I again? Key features. No, I was saying something. Okay, yes, I said they means what? First animal. So scientists, they once believed that protozoas were animals. And they, funny enough, they classified them as what? Animal. But later along the line, they had to what? Reclassify them. Hmm? And they classified them under what? Eukarya. So not animals. Okay, let's proceed. Key features of what? Protozoa. Number one, they are motile through pseudotopia, flagella, or cilia. Motile means they have the ability to move. They can move from one place to another. They can propel themselves. They can perform that characteristic of life called movement. They are motile. Two, they can be parasitic or free living. That means some of them can what enter into an organism and cause diseases, or they can also what live on their own. Parasites are what animals that what or organisms that live in another organism called the host and obtain resources from them, and in the process of obtaining resources from them, harm that host. So learn this one today. When you hear the word parasite, it means organisms that live in another organism called a host. They obtain nutrients, protection, and other necessary things from that organism and still harm that organism in the process. This is fun fact or general knowledge. There's another one called symbiosis, where the animal there is called a symbiote. A symbiote is an organism that lives in another organism and benefits from that organism. In the course of benefits from that organism, it also what brings something in return. How will I put it? It's also what causes that organism to what benefit something too. It was a mutual relationship. Two of them are what benefiting. There's a third one, commensalism. Yes, yes. Oh, my biology in secondary school was strong. Now, in this scenario, an animal or an organism is living in another organism called a host. That host is neither benefiting or losing. Are you still with me? So just have it in back of your mind, though it's not for this lecture though. Let's move on. So these are just the key features. They are parasitic or free living. They can reproduce by binary fission, sexual reproduction, or spore formation. All right. So in just under reproduction, just write they exhibit asexual and sexual reproduction. Wow, 948. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, so this is the structure of what a protozoa. I did not tell us importance of protozoa, right? Their medical importance. So, first of all, they cause diseases in an organisms. They are pathogenic. So, I believe most of us, if not everyone, my mom will always tell us that malaria is what is an African disease. It's a general Nigerian disease. Everyone should have malaria. That's her own belief. There is no time you go to what a hospital and ask the doctor to test you for malaria, unless you have treated yourself. The result will always come out positive. That's her own belief. I have not confirmed that hypothesis. All right. But in my case, every time I went to the hospital, they always confirm me what as having what plus. That plus there is just what means positive. They saw what malaria is in your blood system. So the disease causing organism for malaria is not mosquito. Hmm? Mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito is just a carrier. The disease causing microorganism there is called plasmodium. Plasmodium. Now, that plasmodium is a protozoa. Are you with me? So, female Anopheles mosquito carries plasmodium within it. Once it bites you, in process of biting you, the plasmodium, that protozoa, what enters your bloodstream and starts its pathogenic what activities. In your bloodstream, it cleans your red blood cells, derive organism and nutrients from it, and destroys your red blood cell in the process. In that way, you suffer what you suffer diseases from it, what release toxins and the rest, and it itself what grows. That's why it is parasitic. You are not benefiting, but it's what's benefiting, and in the same turn, it is harming you. Also, number two, they cause what a very common sickness near people that live in riverine area called sleeping sickness. You know, you have heard of fly. It carries pathogen for sleeping sickness. Also, now this is a very something you should know. Protozoas, in their cell structure, they are very close and they resemble what the cell structure of human beings. That is, they try so much to what their cell, they are called first animal, right? Protozoa, first animal. So in the sense that there was evolution of the animals now that came to be, it means that they have so very similarities to what our human cells. That is why most of these what there are few drugs that can treat their diseases. There are few ways that can harm them without harming the human cells. All right. Just something you should know. So let's move to viruses. Very beautiful. Okay, I wish it together. Wow, 9:51. All right, let me rush up. Let me hurry up. Okay, we have studied so far bacteria. We talked about protozoa. We talked about fungi, the very funny guy. Now we are looking at viruses. What is the meaning of virus? The word virus is what? A Latin word meaning poison. Now, virus were so deadly during that time that it was believed that once it have affected you, you will die. It has no cure. So they named it what? Poison. Now, another funny thing is that I think I saw this during my jam. Virus is what? Is a very funny organism in the sense that it challenges our understanding of what is living thing and what is not living thing. Even till tomorrow, I'm still confused. I've read so many materials on why is virus living and why it's not living. I am still confused because no one has been able to say this is not a living thing. No one has been able to say this is a living thing. First of all, virus is house. Is there any
Excuse
question?
me. I missed the last slide you shared before virus.
This slide,
Not this one.
this
That's
one,
not the I think is it I
this one,
think the cell.
cell.
Yes. That
This one
is
now.
yeah, you shared that shows cytoplasm and other things, nucleus, this and that. I want
That's
a
this one in
head.
my screen now.
Yes, this one. Please let me capture it.
You want to screenshot it? Oh, yeah, go ahead. So can I move on now? I will take that as a yes. So I was telling us that viruses are was very unique in the sense that they stand in the borderline between living things and non-living things. All right. So they are called. Please just underline this somewhere. Viruses are called acellular organisms. They are called acellular organisms. Are you hearing me? First of all, cell is the basic unit of life. Outside cell, there is no other life. And now we are telling us that there is something called a cellular organism. That is, it does not really have a cell, but to some extent it is living. Now, this is our problem. A cellular simply means is spelled ACELLULAR. Just cellular, but you put A before it. That A there is a Greek word. I think it means not. So it means not cellular. It does not have what? A cell. So this feature of viruses makes them very hard in the sense that outside a human host, outside a host, be it human or any other organism, it behaves as non-limiting. It does not exhibit any characteristics of life. This structure here now, outside a human being, it should remain like this. It cannot replicate, it cannot move, it cannot divide, it cannot carry out any metabolic process. But once it comes in contact with the human cell, it's now what assumes characteristics of life again. It can now spontaneously divide in their thousands, in their numbers. It can now what release toxins. It can now what replicate. It can now what grow. Are we together? So they are also called, what's the term? Obligate intracellular parasites. So let's just leave it them. But what I mean now means they can only replicate inside a host. Obligate intracellular parasite. If you're a knowledge lover, you can write it somewhere too. So let's look at the key features of what? Virus. Okay, I've mentioned it already. Number one, they can only reproduce inside a host cell. Two, there can be either DNA or RNA viruses. There can never be both. So is it that this virus has what? Deoxyribose or deoxyribonucleic acid or ribose nucleic acid. It cannot have the two of them. Other cells can have the two of them. DNA can be used to what? Translated into RNAs. But in virus, they can either have DNA or RNA. All right. Also, they are what's responsible for numerous diseases in humans, animals, and plants. Let me see our time. Time is against us, so let's just move on. But okay, let me just explain something to us. For those probably like me that want to know how it replicates inside a host. I told us earlier that viruses outside a living human being, they are acellular. They cannot replicate, they cannot do anything. But paraventure, let's use corona, something like this. Let's use coronavirus for example now. Paraventure outside in your environment.
Screen again, sir.
Sorry?
Your screen, I'm not seeing it again.
Are you seeing it now? Are you seeing it now?
Yes,
What about now?
I'm seeing it now.
Alright. So I was telling us outside the cell, it is acellular. It has no life. But once it comes in contact with a host, now, okay, let me break it down into steps. First step is called attachment. Once it gets attached to a host, now I mean it have entered your body and now what has comes in contact with your cell, it what penetrates your cell membrane. It penetrates through your cell membrane. Once it enters your cell membrane, this outermost structure now is called what? An envelope and a capsid. Together they are called what? Nucleocapsid. Now, okay, spikes. This red structure is called the spikes. Now, the brown one I think is the envelope. Now, within you see a capsid and then the nucleic acid. That is either DNA or RNA. So, inside the cell's host, there is something called uncoating. All this protective structure is what? Uncoated. You should now review your DNA and you should now review the DNA or the RNA. So the DNA goes on inside the cell host to what? Replicates, assemble, and now what? Form new viruses. So
Sir,
simply, I'm just saying
again, please. You
I should
from step.
I
From
should repeat.
first
No, don't write it
attack.
down. Don't write it down. It's just for you to know it, okay?
It's not on your
Huh?
slide.
It's not okay. It's not
Uh,
even there for your level now. It's not for your level. All
Who
right.
said? See some questions so that you know resemble all these things you are teaching us. You know it's A level and not O.
Even the A level is actually okay, no problem. Let me just explain again. Now, first step is called attachment. All right, so write it down. Attachment is means what? Getting what inside the what? A host, getting in contact with the host cells. The second step is called penetration or entry. Penetration or entry. That is what that is when the virus now what penetrates through the cell and enters what to perform the next step. That's number 3, called uncoating. Uncoating, UNACOATING, uncoating. So when it uncoats, it removes the what protective what structures, the capsid and the envelope. There are protective structures that cover the nucleic acid. So it removes its protective structure to reveal the DNA. The DNA is what? A genetic makeup. It is what carries the instruction for an organism. Are you with me? So it now reveals the DNA and undergoes the next step called biosynthesis. Biosynthesis. I doubt you will see this thing in any exam too for your level. Is
Yeah.
around 200 level med student too. Now the next
I
step is
think
biosynthesis. And after synthesis, now in synthesis, it now produces more viruses. A single DNA can reproduce to can now what reproduce to form many other DNA strands. And now this DNA strand was coated again, called assembly. So number 5, assembly. Assembly. That's when the envelope, the capsid, and everything will be what covered again. The DNA will be covered by all these structures. And the last point, release. This is the exit. Oh my god. This is the exit of the virus from the what? Host cell. And now this is the killing point. When the virus are finished replicating and dividing itself, on the process of what leaving the cell, it now what releases toxins that what kill the cell itself. Now it will lead us to our next point: medical importance of us a virus.
I didn't get the final point you mentioned.
The final point is called release. Okay, so let's go. So medical importance. Number one, it can cause immunosuppressive diseases. Immune suppressive diseases. This should ring a bell. A virus called HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. It what suppresses your immune system, making you prone to what infection by any other disease that comes in contact with your body, because your white blood cells responsible for fighting diseases are what down. So, hello,
Hello?
I'm listening.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, so the virus is also called respiratory diseases. Respiratory diseases. I believe we know what is called. There is this virus called influenza. Influenza causes respiratory disease. I've mentioned two now, right? The third one. You can also write it causes neurological. There's something called neurological virus. They cause neurological disease. They affect towards your central processing system. Example, rabies. You get that one from dog bite. Then you hear that someone is barking uncontrollably like a dog. So it can cause neurological disorders. Is there any other one? Okay, I can't remember any other one for now. Now, let me tell us one more thing. Viruses are very hard to treat. They are what very hard to this. It's very hard to what find drugs that can target the virus on its own without affecting the human cells. Why? They are acellular. They don't have a cell. They only survive in a host cell. And once they are done replicating, they leave that cell. And when they leave that cell dies. So every virus is what already inside a cell. So for you to treat that virus, it means you are also killing that cell. That's why COVID-19 till tomorrow is very hard to treat. That's why HIV and AIDS is very hard to treat. Influenza, I believe it has a drug now. Rabies, it has a vaccine. So all these things are what difficult to treat. So, but the best way to treat them so far is what? Vaccination. I think that's something I will read up on my own too. I need to understand the physiology behind vaccination. Okay. Any questions so far? 10:05.
Yes.
What's the question?
You said that protozoas are classified as animals. Later, they were reclassified as what?
They are classified under microorganisms. They were thought to be animal,
Mm.
but later on they discovered that they are not truly animal. Hello.
I'm listening.
All right. They reproduce by binary fission. What next point I mentioned there?
Spore formation.
Spore formation. Spore formation.
That's a third one.
For protozoa. For protozoa or
Yes,
bacteria.
under protozoa.
No, you got something wrong. Okay. Yes. I remember that part. It's in the slide. I don't mention it from my head. They reproduce by, first of all, binary fission is under asexual reproduction, please. Spore formation is under sexual reproduction. Okay. Now, the third one I think I mentioned from my head is called Conjugation.
That's it.
Thank you. Conjugation. So we are past time already. Algae. So algae